Greg, welcome back to the program. I understand there's some new goings-on down in Georgia. Tell us about it.
Oh, my God, the smell of audacity. The Secretary of State has proposed a new rule to stop voter fraud. You know all the voter fraud that they've found in Georgia, but this is really serious stuff. He stuck in a rule, I kid you not, at midnight last night, Georgia time, with a emergency hearing this morning of the Board of Elections to stop, to prevent people from coming into Georgia and voting in the Senate runoff, which is, of course, going to decide everyone's Senate. Now, how are they going to catch these fraudsters? Well, they're going to prevent anyone, any county official and any elections official in any of the 159 counties can stop anyone from registering. Ready? If you don't have a car registered in Georgia. Now, needing to buy a car to vote, Tom, that's kind of a heavy poll tax. So they can't actually stop you from voting or registering, but they can withhold your registration till they give you a hearing to confirm that you're a Georgian. This is no joke, by the way. They actually pulled this on my daughter.
And the hearings will happen, no doubt, after the election, right?
Yes. Now, understand. That's right. It'll happen after the January 5 election. So understand who's going to be hit here. We are going through a massive registration, re-registration drive, working with the frontline groups like Black Voters Matter. This will hit students, especially like the students in Savannah and in Atlanta and Athens. How many students have cars? The other is, of course, urban, low-income voters who don't have cars either, who are registering or re-registering. They just happen to be black or, of concern to the state, blue voters. So students, low-income people, urban people in urban areas who use public transportation, that is low-income people. In other words, they're literally saying you have to have a car in Georgia to vote. Again, they're not stopping you from registering. They're just going to withhold your registration until after the election. Again, they've pulled this stunt a couple times. Back in 2014, when I first met Stacey Abrams, I met her at the Ebenezer Baptist Church with Reverend Warnock, of all people, because they were concerned that this guy, Brian Kemp, their Secretary of State, had withheld for 6 months, 50,000 new registrants, young voters of color. He withheld their registrations until after a Senate election in 2014. Now they're pulling this stunt again. No other state that I know of does this, by the way. But this is really serious stuff because it's going to be down to, a handful of votes. It's a blood battle in Georgia right now.
This happened to your daughter, Greg?
Yeah, when she was a Georgia resident, student in Savannah for 4 years, and she tried to register. They said, "Oh, well, wait, you have a New York driver's license registered." She said, "Well, because on summer vacations I drive in New York, but I don't I don't in Savannah, Georgia. Everyone uses bicycles, right?" And but okay, so they withheld her registration. She had to fight them. So of course, a lot of her fellow students simply didn't go through the battle to get on the voter rolls. She did, but again, she missed an election, and this is January 5. The cutoff for registration is December 7, but Georgia has a rule that they don't put your name right on the voter rolls. They have to, quote, confirm your residence. This is, and now they're adding this new thing that they can withhold and say your residence isn't confirmed unless you have a car registered. And by the way, it says not only registered, but you will have had to have paid the registration tax. What does this have to do with voting except to knock out students, low-income people, urban people, the blue people?
Right. So this is mind-boggling. Kemp has done this before. How's this going to play out, Greg? I mean, I'm assuming that the NAACP or somebody is launching a legal suit. I mean, there's 2 weeks till the deadline for registration.
You're so telepathic, Tom. I just heard from the ACLU and others and our lawyers. because people have not noticed. Again, this was slipped in at midnight last night. They held hearings this morning, and they decided, the Board of Elections, at 8 a.m. this morning with the Secretary of State there, we actually don't even have to vote in this new we don't have to hold hearings. Now, our person on the ground there, Terry Manpearl, asked, do you have a single case of fraud of someone coming in from out of state and registering? Do you have one case? This is going to knock out thousands of new voters. Do you have one case of fraud that backs this up? She got no answer. They said, we don't have to have a hearing. We don't have to answer questions because the Attorney General, a Republican, has now said we can simply implement this rule. We don't even have to have a vote on it. It's really serious stuff, and they're sneaking it in without notice. That's why I'm shouting about it on your program. Please, I'm still telling people, if you're not registered, please check your registration, even if you think you are in Georgia. Cutoff is December 7th. And please do it now, because if you have to go through a confirmation process, my friends, you're going to miss January 5.